Welcome back, guys, or if you're new to my channel, this is Automotive Anonymous, and over the last 6 years, I have actually owned 3 new Subarus, a Crosstrek, a Forester, and an Outback Wilderness, and I've learned a lot about these platforms because they do have a lot in common, and today I am super excited not only to be driving another Subaru Outback Wilderness, but also to get to share with you guys at least 7 of the tips and tricks that I have learned along the way. So if you guys get anything out of this video, please consider liking it. Comment your thoughts and opinions below. What's new to you? What is not new to you? I'd love to know. And if you have any other tricks, please share them. And subscribe if you haven't already. Otherwise, huge thanks to Twin Falls Subaru for letting me borrow this Subaru for the day. I'll link them below if you're interested because they sell below MSRP and they ship all over the country. And with that said, let's get right into trick number 1. And we're actually going to start with a few tricks and tips on the outside of the vehicle and ways that you can interact with it. But I think it's no secret that Subarus are off-road capable vehicles. They're meant to take you on adventures to the campsite, to the trailhead, to the fishing hole, whatever that looks like. And sometimes when you're on an off-road adventure and you're going to go outside in the brush and get dirty, or the fishing hole and you're going to get wet, you might not want to have your key on you. So you actually can deactivate the remote. The reason you would do this is you could deactivate it, leave it in the car, and then later I'll show you a way to get into the vehicle without even having the key on you or activated. But to deactivate it, all you have to do is lock it by pressing and holding the lock button, and then double press the unlock button at the same time. And then it should flash about 4 times at you, and then the key will not interact with the vehicle at all. And we'll see if we can do it with one hand. Yeah, there's the flashes. It should be deactivated. So I'm going to leave this in my hand. I'm going to try to open the door with the proximity key features, and we get nothing. So trick number 1 is how to deactivate the remote if you ever don't want to have this interacting with the vehicle. But what if you are on an adventure, you didn't even mean to deactivate your remote, but now it's not working, it's not interacting with the vehicle? Well, as long as you still have it, there's actually a key hidden in the remote. You just have to push that button while pulling it out, and it should slide out pretty easily. And now we are going to try to get into the vehicle with this little silly key. This is the only door that has a key. The passenger side does not have one. And let's see if the alarm goes off or what happens if it recognizes the key. Yep, and the alarm went off, so I better shut this video down so I can turn that off before the cops are called. Well, if I wasn't already awake, now I am. All you had to do is basically push any button on the remote and that would unlock it. But I actually want to try that again. I want to deactivate the remote and this time turn the key to the left and see if that will unlock it as well, or if it only deactivates or unlocks the door if you turn it to the right. All right, trial number 2. Let's see what happens. Key in. Nope. All right, so you're going to have to turn to the right, but then be prepared for the car to start beeping at you. So if it does start beeping at you and the battery's authentically dead, which isn't very likely to happen, we're going to see if we can stop it with the next trick. And because the car might start beeping at me, I'm going to tell you ahead of time what we are going to try to do in case I need to reactivate the remote and just shut down the alarm before the cops are called. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the vehicle. I fully anticipate that the alarm is going to go off. Off camera, I have already tried to start the car with just using this little key, holding it next to the push button start, and it did not work. But if you do that with this, after you hold it there for about a second or two, you'll see the light turn green, and then even if the battery's basically dead, it should still be able to communicate through the software that the key is present and the vehicle can start. So I'm going to see if by starting the vehicle with this, if that shuts down the alarm, or maybe we'll first start and see if just unlocking the doors once I'm in the vehicle, if that does the trick too. All right, round 3 or something like that. Oh, interesting. The alarm didn't go off that time. So that's good news. Anyways, this is still deactivated, so we are going to hold it up to the push button start. I'll keep my foot off of the brake pedal and I'll let you see what it does. Okay, so maybe nothing. Maybe I do need to put my foot on the brake. There we go. And now the accessory power is on, and then you can just push it, and the vehicle fired right up. Pretty cool, especially due to the fact that this is still a deactivated remote, so now we can reactivate it by pushing basically any button. Alright, so tip number 4 is there is actually a secret way to get into your vehicle if the battery's dead, if you don't have the key on you, or the key is deactivated and inside the vehicle because you did just take it on an off-road adventure, and you didn't need to have the keys with you while you were away from the vehicle because you didn't want them to get lost. I've actually used this feature quite a lot coming out of work when I have something to put into my vehicle or out of my vehicle, especially when I owned an Outback Wilderness. And so this has been a really handy feature. It's also on most modern Subarus from the last decade. So basically, there is a sequence that you can do to set the pin code that's located under here. I'm going to overlay some instructions on the screen from Google AI, and if you have any trouble setting those up, watch this old video I did a few years ago with my Outback Wilderness, and that should show you exactly how to set it. But it's actually a really cool feature, and I've loved using that in my ownership experience with the Subarus. Basically, you can set a 4 or 5 digit pin code. Each pin or each digit is going to be 4 or 5 clicks. So once you set up your code, it's pretty easy to get into the vehicle. It only takes probably about 20 seconds. And since we're already at the back of the vehicle, let me show you tip number, I think we're on 5 now. So this does have a power liftgate. It's not really relevant. If you have a hatchback model Subaru and you paid for the extended shade, which has a few different set heights, you actually can store it underneath where the spare tire is. So if you have a hybrid model, you're not going to be able to do this. It is also kind of cool that this Outback has a little hook system, which I don't think mine had that. So you can basically undo that, put it up there. But otherwise, you guys see these slots in the foam design? You can actually pop off these carpeted panels right here pretty easily, and then you can tuck that shade away. So if you don't like the shade being there, if it's in your way, or you like to have the seats down so that you can put longer items in here, you don't have to be stuck with that. You don't have to just lay it down. You can actually hide it under here by the spare tire. And honestly, that's basically where all of our Subaru shades go, because I don't really use that feature, but I do see the appeal of it. Tip number 6 is if you ever get stuck, which I've only been stuck one time in a Subaru. That was my Crosstrek. That's because I took it off-roading in some winter snow, and I high-centered myself because I was going too slow and I wasn't plowing through the snow, and I actually had to be towed out. And the way that you would get towed out in these, because most Subarus don't have a hitch, so they don't have an attachment site that you could use or your own designated hitch, adapter for being towed out. You don't want to necessarily pull on a control arm or some suspension component. That's not going to be good. And the Outback Wilderness, like a few other wildernesses, they have 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and most Subarus, they always have at least 1 to get you out of a sticky situation. So basically, you could use a key. If you have a key on you, you could pop that thing open, or with a flathead screwdriver. And then from there, every Subaru, maybe not the BRZ, I'm not sure, but they come with this eyebolt hole. So just screw that in all the way, and then you can hook up your recovery strap, and you can get yourself pulled out of that sticky situation. And I do have to say, as someone who has been pulled out with the Crosstrek by a heavy-duty Cummins diesel truck, honestly, it didn't feel bad for the vehicle at all. It felt like it was designed for that. And if that feature wasn't there, I would maybe still be stuck today. Tip number 7 is that I know a lot of you guys love Subarus because they are so safe, and that is probably about half the reason why we personally buy them, because these hold up extremely well in crash tests, but they also have a lot of adaptive and passive safety features, and I know not everyone loves that. Not everyone loves that these have either 2 or 3 cameras up front for the adaptive eyesight cruise control. Not everyone loves that the new ones have the driver mitigation system. Personally, I do think that that is a little bit too much. More things to beep at you, basically, if you look away from the road in front of you for 2 seconds. If you're looking over to the side to enjoy nature, enjoy part of the trail that the Subaru is taking you on, it's going to start flashing and beeping at you and kick you out of cruise control and shut down your music, and it's too invasive. This Outback Wilderness is the perfect balance, in my opinion. But one of the interesting features, if you don't like the cameras, if you don't like them intervening for you, and you don't want adaptive cruise control and you want to have full control yourself, but you still want to enjoy cruise control, is you can go into cruise control by pushing this button right here, and you'll notice that the screen changes in the center, but then that is set up for adaptive cruise control. If you want to go to regular cruise control, hold it one more time and watch the icon change. So I had to go out of it, back into it. Oh, what am I doing? Sorry, I'm used to the Toyota. Let me push the distance button, further distance button. There we go. You heard the beep, you saw the change, and now we are in regular cruise control. But beyond that, if you guys don't want to change the settings, and yours, depending on the model you have, going up will either jump you up or down 5 miles per hour, or if you hold it, it'll be a single digit, or vice versa. This software did change depending on the model and the year, so keep in mind you can either push it up, or you can hold it and you'll get a different setting. So whichever one works better for you, and that's pretty neat. And I apologize because I lied to some of you guys. This wasn't just a 7 features video. There's actually a couple bonus things real quick, but they're not relevant to every single new Subaru. Some of them might not be like that, like this Outback. So if you have auto or the headlights on at night, your headlights are gonna be on, right? But if you turn them off, I think this Outback, at least mine did. Mine was a 2022 though. This software might have changed for this 2025. But even if you have them off at night on the 0 or the O right there, and you leave it in park, the headlights are going to be off, whereas they're going to be turned on in those other settings. But once you put it into drive, if you have the newer software like what our Subaru Forester has, even if you turn it off, once you put the vehicle into drive, the headlights will automatically turn on. You cannot drive in the dark. So you can't sneak around like you used to in a Subaru. But additionally, you also have a lot of controls and things that you can modify and change in the settings. So if you go to general, you of course have a lot of things in here. I highly recommend you guys check these out for yourself if you are interested, but the ones I want to mostly focus on today relates to the car setting, and you can actually change a lot of things like how the door locks work, one-touch lane change, rear seat reminder. If you don't have anyone in the back, you might want to turn that off so it doesn't always beep at you. Basically, there is a lot of stuff that you can change, and that is pretty neat. Alright guys, well these are 7 secret features and a couple bonus things on the interior. If you got anything out of this video, please consider liking it, comment what you learned, comment what you didn't learn, and if you have other valuable secrets, please share. And those of you watching, please read the comments down below so we can see together what else is discovered, what other information there is. I have a lot of fun making videos like this. I've learned a lot of interesting things over the Subaru experience over the last 6 years, and there's a reason why I still drive them. I like them. I don't like everything that Subaru's doing, but I do like a lot of things, and I do like some of these secret features. They're just fun. They're tricks and tips and hacks to know in case you're ever in a situation where you could benefit from one of them. But anyways, guys, like this video, comment your thoughts below, and check out the Twin Falls Subaru. They are literally the best Subaru dealership, in my opinion, of course. I wish you guys the best, and I'll link them down below. Otherwise, take care, guys. See ya.